Hello, Olivia. It's good to
Hi.
see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
That's good. Okay, so last week I had you go back and do this Me Bag activity, which is where you were going to describe yourself, use words from magazines and different things to put on the outside of your bag that how people perceive you on the outside.
Yeah.
And then on the inside you would put things how you perceive yourself. So how do you think that went for you?
It was good. I enjoyed it, actually.
That's good. And you also incorporated leisure into that as well, and how that falls into play?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So why don't you explain to me first, before we talk about your Me Bag, how self-awareness kind of falls into play with leisure?
Okay. I think when you're really self-aware, you know kind of your dislikes and how you value just like other people and spending your time. And so that really plays into just like the decisions you make in your free time.
Okay, yeah, I think you're very right. You need to understand kind of who you are and what you enjoy if you're going to enjoy yourself in leisure.
Right.
So why don't you explain to me first on the outside of your bag what you decided to put?
Okay. So this is kind of what my bag looks like, but I will just kind of go through. Should I give you a description of it?
Yeah.
Okay. So on one side, I have words like go, gluten-free, read, outside, water, and a higher power. So
Okay.
go just really meaning in the past couple years and then in the future after I graduate. I've gone on a lot of missions trips. I've just spent my time in other places, and after graduation I'll be leaving as well, so I think people see me as just kind of like leaving or going many different places. Gluten-free because I am gluten-free, but for some reason like that's a big deal, and so a lot of people like see that or like know about that right away.
Yeah.
Read, outside, and water being just being on the lake and in the boat and whatever. Those are all leisure, and they're just like what I like to do with my time, reading a regular book or the Bible, just being outside with friends and family, playing sports, hiking, anything like that.
Okay.
And then just a higher power has to do with the fact that like I believe in God and Jesus, and people see that, but just really see it as a very like simply she believes in a higher power.
Okay.
So that's that. Then on the other side, music was another leisure activity I put on there. Perfect is something I put on there just because I feel like a lot of people see me as that, even though, I mean, I'm obviously not. Nobody is. But they're kind of having it all together. Balance, just because I'm a pretty even, like, laid-back person.
Okay.
Athlete, I was a really big athlete in high school. And being active is still something I enjoy, so people see that. Family, because I just love spending time with my family and I really value them. And then I also put the word square, which I think means uptight, or like people could see you as a square. And not necessarily like it's not like an all-encompassing term, but I think because of like I don't really drink or go out or do anything like that, and so I think especially friends from high school just see me as uptight because of some of those decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I have on the outside.
Awesome. All right, and then why don't you explain to me the inside and what you chose to represent how you perceive yourself?
So on the inside, I have layers because I think that when people see, like I put perfect on the outside, but when people see that's really all that they see. They see that I like make the right decisions and I don't know, like do everything I'm supposed to do and live up to people's expectations in areas of life, but I don't think that they see like past that really. So like not knowing that there are different layers to me. I put the word repairing because I really like repairing like situations and people and just like putting it back together and making it not broken.
Yeah.
I put the word today because when like I make a big decision in life or even just like a little decision, I just want to get it done like right away. So just that day I want to do it when I make my mind up.
Yeah.
I have work hard because like that's been something that's been consistent in my life, whether it's in school or sports or like my faith, just all of it. I have a picture of a mug with candle in it just because it looks really relaxing to me, and so I just really like to just like relax and hang out with friends and have a cup of coffee, love candles, like all of that. And then finally I put it says anchor, but it's also a picture of an anchor, because my faith in like Jesus is something that anchors my life, and it's a foundation, and it really affects everything that I do. So that's why I have that.
Awesome. That's really cool. So you kind of have similar things maybe on the outside and on the inside. So that's really cool that like people are able to see some part of you, who you are on the outside. But then there's also some differences. So do you want to explain like how they're different, the words on the outside versus on the inside?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest ones is layers, because I kind of touched on it, but like people have seen me as perfect in the past. Like they've actually said that to me. And obviously I'm not. And so I think that many times people see like my decisions or what I do or how well I do in school or just like other areas of life, and they see that as perfect, but they don't see like the intentions behind it or like the emotion that goes behind it or like why I do what I do.
Okay.
They don't like look for that. So
Yeah.
that would be layers. And then the other one would be anchor, which I think like on the front I have believing in a higher power. Like people just see it as like, oh, she's someone who believes in Jesus and like whatever, and like maybe sometimes like a crazy Jesus person, like whatever that means. But like anchor, I don't think that they realize the extent to which it just kind of like keeps me grounded, and just like gives me a peace throughout every day, and just like basically has me where I am today because of like that anchor and like who Jesus is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, thank you. So how would like, it sounds like you have things about yourself that you'd like people to know more about, or to like seek out in you. So like, what are some things, you maybe kind of explain this, but what are some things in your bag like on the inside that you wish that people maybe saw or knew about you, on the surface level maybe, or just more sought out in you?
Yeah. Probably layers, because I think people really like to take my decisions and like following rules or doing well at face value. So they like to be like, oh, you're a rule follower, or like you just like really like to make decisions and be a good person. But I don't think that they like take the time to understand why I do what I do, and like why I make the choices in my life, whether that has to do with leisure or whether that has to do with like life and work stuff. And so I think that having them look into more of that and like be intentional in seeking that out.
Right. So if people actually like sought out to know your intentions and things, you think they would get to know you better?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that it would go from being like a perfect and maybe uptight person to like, oh, I see why she does this, and I see like her foundation, which would lead back to Jesus, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, that's really cool. So how do you think that people get these ideas to perceive you the way that you think that they do? How do you think that happens?
I think sometimes they tell you, like I have been told some of these things, whether it's like athletic or perfect or I don't know, anything like that. But I think that a lot of times it just comes with spending a lot of time with a group of people, because I think that in order to know like how they see you, you need to spend time with them, and so you get to know them and like little things that they say or different reasons that they come to you, and you kind of learn like maybe why you're in each other's lives and what they get out of like your relationship and what you get out of theirs.
Yeah.
So I think you see like expectations or views through that.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really good point. So now we're moving into leisure. So how does participation in leisure help form your self-perception? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so kind of like how does leisure tell me more about who I am? I think that when I go to like, okay, I like to be on the water or be outside, sometimes this is alone, but a lot of times it's with other people, and it's something that I grew up doing. And so I think that when I look at like being out on the lake with family or friends, or being outside and playing sports or hiking with family or friends, it shows me more about how important those family and friends are to me, and just how much I value like relaxing, but also just being able to be active and like kind of spend that time where you don't necessarily have to be like talking all the time or whatever. You can just like be with those people, and I think I see how much I value that.
Yeah. That's cool. So then do you have like specific leisure activities that you feel like most like yourself and most comfortable with your values?
I love being out on the water. It's something that like I grew up with, so we've always had a boat. We've always taken that out over the summers, and so that could be tubing, it could be skiing, it could be just kind of like driving around, or it's just like throwing down the anchor and like swimming in a certain spot or laying out and just talking and stuff.
Okay. So this is a little bit deeper, but how do you think like those water activities, maybe like dropping the anchor down and kind of just chilling around in the water, how do you think that maybe relates to meaning in your life?
I mean, I guess I did have anchor as one of my words on the inside of my bag.
Yeah.
So throwing down the anchor, like if that just means Jesus and like having that to anchor me, like you have the water, and obviously like if you don't have an anchor in a boat, the water can just kind of take you wherever it's going. But when you have an anchor, it doesn't do that. You move a little bit, but not a lot. And so I guess if you were to like look at life, if you have, or like if I have the anchor of Jesus, then like that holds me in place, and other things that could like stress out or sweep away, like the world around me doesn't do that for me because I have him holding me down.
Awesome.
And so I'm free to just like relax because I'm confident in that.
Okay, that's so cool. Yeah. Sounds like you're very confident in your foundation in Jesus, and that seems to not really sway you in the way that people maybe perceive you.
Yeah.
And don't maybe totally know you fully, but you're okay with that because you know yourself and you have your core people, like your family and Christ. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for the chat today.
Yeah, thanks.